Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Chase Maddox, and I am here to teach you some guitar. So we will get to that line. I'll show you all about that. We'll analyze it. I'll break down some things for you. But first, I want to say thank you. So we did surpass the 100 books for the Master Arpeggios book. You can get that below. I'm going to leave the offer up for now for the 20% off. I haven't had time to go in and change the offers, and if you feel like getting it, you can still get it for the 20% off. So I'll just leave that there. But I want to say thank you to you guys for supporting that. It really helps support this channel, lets me do more of these and spend some more time focused on lessons for you guys instead of taking some gigs or other private lessons. So it really does help you get better content from me. So what I want to do in this lesson is we're going to talk a little bit more about building jazz lines, specifically like the one you just saw, where it's more constant eighth note line. We'll do some techniques. We're going to refer to a lot that was in my lesson last week. But if you haven't seen that, you don't need to go see that. It'll just help after this to go review that one. So we're going to talk about some of those same concepts. As usual, I'm going to do this in one position for the sake of time, but something different, I'm going to actually do all of the positions in a live event that I'm going to try out. We're going to experiment with it. If you want the details for that, you have to stay to the end of the video and I will give you all the details you need. It'll be a free event. You'll even get the full PDF for this that I normally charge $5 for. You'll get the full thing for free. So stay to the end of the video and I will tell you all about that. All right, let's get into it. Our main objectives for this lesson, based on the last one, we're going to do a few things. We're going to shorten up the line. So the last one, we had this line over D7. It was a bit long though, right? So I'm going to show you how to use some of those same concepts, even if the dominant chord is for a short amount of time. We're going to do this over a rhythm changes bridge. So if you're not aware of the rhythm changes bridge, we have D7, 2 measures G7, 2 measures C7, and then 2 measures F7. It's a great place to practice playing over dominant chords. One thing that's really important with that I want to mention, think about these in terms of the secret jazz chord, which I've talked about in previous videos. So if we're doing that, I think about this as like a D13, where we have that B note on top, like a G altered with B flat on top, like C13 with the A on top, and then like F7 altered. And the key thing here, which I can dive into really a lot of depth in another lesson if you guys are interested, the key thing I want you guys to just take my word for is that we have a switching from like a natural 13 type sound, like D13, to an altered type sound. And so as we have these movement of fifths, the D to G, C to F, we also have this chromaticism going around of this voicing, moving half step. So that's going to be important for the sake of where I'm getting these notes in the line. We're going to deal with the rhythm changes bridge. We're going to talk about some other chromatic devices. Last time we talked about this 4-note chromatic descending pattern. We're going to do some other things like that. So to start us off, we're taking the beginning of the line we used last week, which is with the rest. And now in continuing this line, we're just going to descend to that A flat, right? So we have, and that's our first beat on the G altered. And what I'm going to do here is keep the same motif that we created, just repeat that down chromatically. So instead of moving chromatically on our notes, we're taking a whole phrase and shifting that down chromatically. That's another way to use chromaticism. That group of 4 notes becomes going to there. So, right? And when we're there, we're going to take our same 2 notes per string pattern, where I get to decide from the scale, 2 notes from that scale. I only play 2 on each string, then I go to the lower string. But this time we're taking it from the melodic minor for G altered, which is A flat melodic minor. So starting on that one, we have then 2 notes, F and E flat, B natural, and B flat. We're going to do our 4-note descending chromatic idea, which is just to land on that F, and then E flat to B, 2 more notes. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you just jump your hand, and then G to end it. So we have from the beginning of that, G7, right there we're on C7. So I'm landing on that B flat. I'm prioritizing for my downbeat on all these chords the thirds and the sevenths. So really for all of these, when the chord switches from D7 to G7 or C7 to F7, I'm trying to hit on the downbeat a third or a seventh. Doesn't mean that every downbeat has to be a chord tone, but whatever note lands on the chord tone, we want that to be intentional. Okay, so on this C7 now, we open up with that phrase. And what I want to point out here is if I had just gone up like that from B flat, D, F, right into E, the E wouldn't have been on the downbeat, but I want it to be because it's a third and it's stronger on the downbeat. So one way we can do this, and you start to do it subconsciously in your playing once you get these patterns down, but what we can do, if I'm going D to F, but I'm on the wrong downbeat or upbeat, I can go back to D. So that's why in this pattern we have, I go back to D, and then E will land on the downbeat. So there's these little devices that you hear jazz musicians improvise with all the time. And what that does is it allows them, they're using that to place the note they want on the beat they want, whether it's a downbeat or an upbeat. So when you're analyzing a lot of these solos or coming up with these phrases, you want to be aware of what notes are falling on your downbeats, which ones are on your upbeats, is that intentional? And then notice any patterns or ideas that you can use to force a note where you want it to. Almost like a magician would force a card in sleight of hand. Musicians have ways of forcing a note to the beat they want with different little patterns. So we start with that, and if you also notice on the C7, we're using the 2 chord, which was an idea from last week. The 2 chord in this context would be G minor to C7. Since we're on C7, that's your G minor. From here, we just go up our basic arpeggio C7, E, G, B flat, C, E, G, B flat. And now from here, we're going to talk about a new device called an enclosure. I don't think we've talked about this much before. So the idea with an enclosure, I think about it like a chromatic device where that middle note is what we're targeting. And it's just like you have a note that's above and then below, and then you do the one in the middle, or below and then above and the one in the middle. So we're targeting it by doing like the upper limit, the bottom limit, and then we hit the one in the middle. And it lets our ear really know that that note we hit is intentional. So what that sounds like, we hit that A on that beat. So and we want that target of the enclosed note to be on a downbeat. And here you notice it's not a chord tone, it's just the 13, but that's fine. Targeting the extensions can sound really good. Because we're building this from this C13 sharp 11, it's coming from G melodic minor, which is why I go to F sharp. It's 2 notes from G melodic minor. And then we do another enclosure, this time enclosing E flat, because at that moment our chord's going to switch to F7, and E flat is the flat 7 of F7. So let me play this line from C7 just to kind of catch us up. Right there we're on F7. And now for this F7, we had the E flat, which is our flat 7, A to A flat. This is coming off of F altered down, so you'll see a lot of sharp 9, flat 9. Now we go into basic F7 arpeggio like we did on other positions for this. Kind of repeating the same pattern. And then we go F sharp to E flat, that's our 2 notes. And then ending this, sort of a diminished sound, C, A flat, G flat, F. Now that last F, at this point in rhythm changes, would be the 5th of B flat, because it would go back to the 1 chord. I'll play the whole line one time so you can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So if you want to see me go over this same sort of idea, but it's going to be different lines across the whole guitar in 5 positions, we're going to do all 5 positions. Next week, I'm going to host a live lesson Q&A. We're going to go through this, but you guys can also ask me questions. It's going to be Wednesday night. at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. You guys will have to register at this link below. Now I'm putting it here and not in the description, so you guys have to type this in. And what we'll do when you register, I'll make sure I send out the Zoom link to you guys via email. So if you don't get an email, you can email me at contact@jazzmemes.org to make sure you're on the list. And like I said, after we have this Zoom hang, I'll send out the PDF that's normally $5 of all of this across the whole guitar. It's a really good workout. It's a great workout for me to just create these lines and go through them. So if you guys are interested, we'll try it out as an experiment. Let's say it's a max of 100 people registered, so no more than 100, but even if it's only a few, we will still do it and have a good time. So if you guys are interested, go to this link below and get on the sign up list. And please don't register if you can't attend. So only register if you know you're going to be there and are willing to participate. So bring your guitar, have that ready. We'll go through some stuff, and it'll be a good time. If you guys are watching this after the fact, send me an email if you guys want this PDF, and I will direct you to it. All right, guys, I will see you on Wednesday.